I want you to imagine a community of great possibilities and prosperity, built by Black people, for Black people, places to work, places to live, places to worship. Now imagine it being ravaged by flames. On May 31st and June 1st, 1921, the Tulsa, Oklahoma neighborhood of Greenwood was a fully realized antidote to the racial oppression of the time. Built in the early part of the century in a northern pocket of the city, it was a thriving community of commerce and family life to its roughly 10,000 residents. Brick and wood frame homes dotted the landscape, along with blocks lined with 2 schools, 2 newspapers, a hospital, a grocery store, 4 hotels, 2 newspapers, 8 doctors, 7 barbers, a beauty salon, a typing school, skating ring, 9 restaurants, and a half dozen professional offices and real estate agents, dentists, and lawyers. There were cabaret nightclubs, billiard halls, theaters, and churches. You could shop for groceries, play pool, take in a theater show, eat dinner, get your hair styled without ever leaving the block. Greenwood was so promising, so vibrant, that it became better known as America's Black Wall Street. Residents were able to identify with Black success, and Black Wall Street gave them a sense of identity and pride. What took years to build was erased in 2 days by racial violence. Hundreds of Greenwood residents brutally killed 1,470 homes, and years of successful business wiped out. The mob shot Black people. Members of the mob ransacked homes, stole money and jewelry. They set fires house by house, block by block. Terror came from the sky as well. White pilots flew airplanes that dropped dynamite over the neighborhood. There was emptiness and ruin in every direction. A vast amount of smoke and ash coated the entire neighborhood. The financial toll of the massacre is evident in the $1.8 million in property loss claims, $30 million in today's dollars. The insurance companies named the event the Tulsa Race Riot, designating it a riot that prevented insurance companies from having to pay benefits to people of Greenwood whose homes and businesses were destroyed. The destruction of property is only one piece of the financial devastation that the massacre affected. Much bigger is a sobering kind of inheritance, the enormous and enduring loss of what could have been, and the generational wealth that might have shaped and secured the fortunes and legacy of Black children and grandchildren. One factor that drove the violence was the resentment towards the Black prosperity found in the block of Greenwood. Many believe the main reason for the destruction of Black Wall Street was a rumor that a Black man named D. Rowland got on the elevator, operated by a white woman named Sarah Page. Mr. Rowland tripped and accidentally grabbed onto the arm of Miss Page. She screamed, stopped the elevator, and Mr. Rowland ran away. Miss Page told the community that Mr. Rowland assaulted her. The next day, Mr. Rowland was arrested, jailed. By that afternoon, the local newspaper published a front-page news story with the headline, "Nab Negro for Attacking Girl in Elevator." This essentially mobilized a lynch mob. It was later revealed that Mr. Rowland did not assault the woman. It was a rumor, a very costly rumor. Black Wall Street, where Black success embodied the American dream, was suddenly, dreadfully wiped out. June 1st, 2021 marked the 100th anniversary of Black Wall Street. Students, one fact I want you to learn from this story: don't get involved in rumors. Often someone may tell you something that might not be true. If you choose to believe that rumor, this result can get the person upset, and you're passing on information to other students that can be very, very costly. So again, watch what someone tells you. Do not get involved in rumors. Please put your hands together and listen as a few of the Blackstreet residents tell their success stories.
My name is O.W. Gurley. I'm the founder of Greenwood. I was born a free slave in Alabama, raised in Arkansas, and moved to Oklahoma during the Oklahoma Land Rush in 1889. After running a general store in Perry, Oklahoma, I moved to oil-rich Oklahoma and purchased 40 acres of land on the north side of the city with the vision of selling residential and commercial plots to African Americans. I opened a rooming house, purchased buildings, and provided loans to other black people to help other black people start their own business.
My name is J.B. Stafford. I'm a son of a former enslaved man. I'm a lawyer from Kentucky. I own pool halls, shoe shine parlors, and boarding houses. I moved to Tulsa in 1899 and invested in real estate properties. I built the Stafford Hotel on Greenwood Avenue, a luxury establishment that was considered the largest black-owned hotel in the country with 54 guest suites, a pool hall, salon, and a dining room.
My name is A.G. Smitherman. I moved to Tulsa in the 1890s and founded the Tulsa Star. This was a black newspaper based in Greenwood. My newspaper talked about the legal rights of black people. I was an activist who would intervene and support black businesses.
My name is Elias Walker Woods. I was born in Winston, Mississippi, the son of a free slave. I spent my youth farming, taught summer classes in Mississippi and Arkansas to finance my education at Rush College. I came across a flyer that read Oklahoma was in a desperate need of black teachers. I was 27 years old and walked from Memphis to Oklahoma, 412 miles, to accept my teaching position at a small school, Booker T. Washington. Years later, I was a principal at Tuskegee, Normal, and Indestructible, and now at Tuskegee University.
My name is Simon Berry. I was born in Mississippi. I owned my own home, and not only did I own and operate a taxi service, but I launched and managed Tulsa's bus line called the Berry Bus Line Company, Inc. I started this company because my people were oppressed due to segregation by not being able to utilize transportation services that were set up in the city. Black people were forbidden to take taxis or buses for transport. I also founded and owned a garage and service station. I was a pilot and started the first and only black-owned charter airplane service called Barry's Airplane Garage, whereby I transported wealthy businessmen.
My name is John Williams. My wife and I are among Greenwood's first residents. I had a talent for working on machines. In 1909, I secured a position operating the steam-powered chilling equipment at the Thompson Ice Cream Company. My skills are in such demand and the job paid well that by 1911, I purchased Greenwood's first car. I learned everything I could about the repair and maintenance of cars. Soon I found myself earning money on the side, working on other people's cars. By 1912, I had such an extensive clientele that I resigned from my job and opened my own auto repair garage called Williams One Stop Garage. I serve both black and white car owners.
My name is Lula Williams, wife of John. My husband's repair business was very profitable. We took the money and purchased a 3-story building, and I opened a confectionery store on the first floor. We lived on the second floor and rented the third floor spaces as offices for attorneys. The store sold candy, ice cream, and featured a fully stocked soda fountain. My shop was the most popular hangout for teens and young couples of all races. When we opened a movie theater called Express Theater, then another theater called Williams Dreamland Theater. The new theater has a seating capacity of 750. Our movie theater was just as popular as our confectionery store.
My name is Mabel Little. I moved to Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1913 at 17 years old in order to attend college and search for an opportunity to own a business. I fell in love, got married, and my husband and I invested in a beauty parlor in Greenwood called the Little Rose Salon. My salon was a popular place for women. If they had a big night out, they knew I had the magic touch. We then purchased a 3-bedroom house. My husband used one room to open a shoe shining business. I used a room for my beauty salon, and we lived in the third room. My business took off. I had to hire 3 more expert beauticians, and I built a client base of over 600. We moved into a 5-room home, bought a Model T Ford, and opened a restaurant called The Little Cafe.
In Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood District to be exact, was home to the most successful, most affluent black community. In fact, they called it Black Wall Street. Hospitals, hotels, groceries, all black owned. Black developers built and rented out black homes. Neighboring white districts was hating on our melanin. What we supposed to do? This is blickety black excellence. One day a black boy named Dick Rowland went strolling to use the closest black only bathroom that he could get hold of. Stepped on the elevator and failed. He grabbed Sarah Page, a white girl who got startled and yelled. So he fled the scene, or presumably innocent, cause a white woman screams enough to get a brother lynched. A clerk called the police and said she was attacked, but she said he never assaulted her. That's facts. The next day, police found him at his mama's house, put him in handcuffs and took him to the drama house. The newspaper reported and lied in their print, said a Negro attacked a white woman and he would be lynched. Now word traveled town that a brother would be hanged, so the racists stormed the courthouse to watch the whole thing. But feds never had plans to kill him. Had him hold up at the top floor jail in the building. What started out as a few hundred Beckys and Bobs turned into a 2,000-person racist lynch mob. No weapons concealed, they threatened to kill him. Police ready to shoot any rioters who stepped in the building. Then black citizens showed up with guns. They heard the same rumors, went to protect them from being hung. Police told whites to leave, they loudly denied. Police asked blacks to leave, they went and complied. This was not fine gentlemen on both sides. The white mob tried to test, so the brothers had to slide. Gunfire exchange, killing 10 white men, 2 blacks. They took that as a Negro uprising. They poured in the Greenwood from neighboring districts, shooting black people, babies, and children, and set blaze to the buildings. They burned the hospital and hundreds of black businesses. One thing about racists, they mad sensitive. After that, they went into the residential blocks, forced blacks out of their homes, and took them to detention spots, and that ain't even all the killing. They had planes with bombs dropped on buildings. Like Erie resident was Charlie Wilson. They used gunpoint to turn fire trucks away. Only a devil would want to watch the world blaze. Some of the blacks fought back instead, but they were so outnumbered that a lot of them fled. Them racists burnt down all of their bread. The next day, martial law was declared to subdue the violence. The streets was finally quiet. A white jury blamed black mobs for the riots. 200 businesses, 1,300 homes, 300 blacks, and some whites dead and gone. To do that, you gotta be savage. In today's money, the rise was 32 million in property damage. Damn, not one person convicted, not a single payment delivered. It took a decade for blacks to rebuild it until segregation ended, so they moved abroad. Black Wall Street, you see how they do what's wrong.
voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am mistakes that I have made, or any other thing that has caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dreams I left behind. I am light, light. I am light. A smile, a helping hand, it's light. Oh, light, light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is light. Ooh, yeah. It's light, light. It's light, light. It's light. Ooh. I am divinity divine. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light. Oh, I am light, light. I am light. I am
The Greenwood District after the massacre. In November 1921, with millions of property damage and no help from the city, the rebuilding of Greenwood nonetheless began almost immediately. Many Black Tulsa residents fled the city and never returned. But many stayed and started from scratch, some housed in Red Cross tents until they could rebuild their homes and later community landmarks like the Dreamland Theater. The Greenwood District was eventually rebuilt by Black residents who refused to leave the city, with hundreds of structures rebuilt by the end of 1921. By 1925, Greenwood hosted the annual conference of Booker T. Washington's National Negro Business League, and by 1942, the neighborhood boasted more than 200 Black-owned businesses. according to a report from the state's 1921 Tulsa Race Riot Centennial Commission. Still, many of the neighborhood's surviving Black residents never fully recovered the wealth that was lost amid the looting and destruction. The Dreamland Theater was rebuilt by the community after the massacre, but the theater and many of the rebuilt neighborhoods' businesses eventually shut down a few decades later. As Tulsa neared the mid-century mark, increasing integration across the country meant that Black residents no longer needed to only spend their money at Black-owned businesses, which sent money outside of the community. What's more, Tulsa, like many other US cities, committed to urban renewal plans in the 1960s and 70s that raised much of the Greenwood district to make way for public work projects, including construction of a major highway in the 1960s that cut right through the neighborhood. Today, the district's main thoroughfare, Greenwood Avenue, cuts through the Tulsa campus of Oklahoma State University. In 2001, an Oklahoma State commission to study the 1921 massacre delivered a fact-finding report meant to officially recognize the tragic event after decades of it being ignored by the local government. The Tulsa Race Riot Commission report recommended that survivors be paid reparations, calling it a moral obligation. The commission determined that some form of reparations should be made to the massacre's survivors and their descendants. However, a federal judge ruled against the commission's calls for reparations in a 2004 ruling, and groups of survivors, as well as the Human Rights Watch, are still calling on the government to offer some sort of reparations to the massacre's survivors. The pursuit of restitution continues. In 2010, the city dedicated a park called the John Hope Franklin Reconciliation Park after an African-American historian from Tulsa in the memory of the victims of the 1921 Tulsa massacre. In 2020, the federal government recognized the park as an official member of the African-American Civil Rights Network. A walkway called the Pathway to Hope, connecting the park to the Greenwood District, was also dedicated during a slate of events commemorating the massacre's centennial. In 2018, local officials also dedicated a Black Wall Street mural painted on one side of the highway that now runs through the Greenwood District. And local leaders worked to secure $25 million in funding for the Greenwood Rising History Center, a museum offering educational programs about the district's history, opened in time for the massacre's 100th anniversary. Meanwhile, further efforts remain underway to restore the area once known as Black Wall Street today. Multiple community organizations work together to restore the Tulsa home of 105-year-old Leslie Benningfield Randall, who was one of the few remaining survivors of the 1921 Tulsa massacre. And the Greenwood Chamber of Commerce is actively seeking to raise up to $10 million to restore and rebuild the district through a campaign called Restore Black Wall Street. Author Devin Guillebeau and Professor Megan Isaac of Elon University have charged us with the following questions. Why are we, as a nation, allowing something as important to our history or as symbolic as the Tulsa race riots to be brushed away and act like it never happened? Why are we not teaching about the destruction of Black Wall Street? Why is Greenwood, Oklahoma not used as an uplifting message to all students?
Hey, I just want to thank our performers, Nick Hensley, Augustin.
I'm Black Wall Street.
Troy Houndshell.
I'm Black Wall Street.
Pathan Bias.
I'm Black Wall Street.
Jamari Stevens.
I am Black Wall Street.
Cassidy Dixon.
I'm Black Wall Street.
Israel Olaifa.
I am Black Wall Street.
Liliana Bernard.
I'm Black Wall Street.
And Angelica Thompson.
I'm Black Wall Street.
Miss Howard and Mrs. Stewart. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Howard and Mr. Stewart for their beautiful performance. And I would also like to thank Miss Edward for her amazing speech on the rebuilding of Black Wall Street.
I know you guys can't see us, you're not in the auditorium, but how about giving a real loud applause to all the performers? I want you to remember, rumors can cause many problems. So be careful with the information someone tells you. We also want to give thanks to the following: my co-host, Tamia Brown, our principal, Mr. Redonia, our deans, Ms. Schreiner and Mr. Whitaker, videographer Brian, soundboard Alana, my guidance team, Ms. Stampone, Ms. Thornell, Ms. Pendalian, Ms. Heinz, Ms. Soper and Ms. Lippert for your technical assistance. And want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we want you to have a very safe and carefree holiday break. All right? Thank you so much.